What's up, guys? Team Hot Pocket here with a quick side decking video. This time it is windups, and once again, I'm just going to show you the card list, and then I'm going to explain why you would put it in your side deck. If you have any other suggestions that you could put in the side deck, leave it in the comments down below, or whether you really think that maybe a certain card shouldn't have been in this side deck or not. But I'm sure that all these cards side deck pretty well against them. Although I don't suggest putting them all in, but it's easy just to look through your common stuff, see if you have any of this just laying around, because it's some pretty good side decking stuff against windups. If you don't want to spend bigger money on some of the more expensive side decking stuff. But first off, we got Goals and Match, a Chain Destruction, also Chain Disappearance. I don't have it on me right now, but Chain Destruction and Chain Disappearance. Effect Veiler, if you don't already main deck one. DD Crow, Thunder King, Gemini Imps, Mind Crush, Summon Limit, and a Nico Mankin. Alright, we'll start off with the Goes and Match. Pretty simple effect. Each player sends monsters they control to the graveyard until they each control a monster of only one attribute. Each player cannot control monsters with different attributes. So, pretty much what that means is all of their guys have a different attribute. Like, there's only a couple that have the same, but they mainly all have a different attribute. So if you have this played, it'll stop their loop, and it'll stop them from summoning other things against you that could turn the duel around. So this is a huge stopper, and it doesn't hurt you most of the time. It matters what kind of a deck you're running, but a lot of times siding in the Goals and Match isn't going to hurt you unless your deck also runs many attributes. A lot of decks run more of a Twilight or a Smorg or something like that build. So you can just sit there with your darks or just your lights in your hand for a good while before they hit this with an MST, and then you can just go off after that. So Goals and Match is a really good side in my opinion. It's probably the best one, which is why I put it in first. Because it slows them down the much and it probably hurts you the less. Moving on to the next card. Chain Destruction and Card Destruction. Both of them, when they summon a monster with 2,000 less attack or 1,000 less attack, this Chain Destruction will destroy all of them in their deck. I mean, Chain Disappearance. Chain Destruction will destroy all of them in their deck and send them to the graveyard, except for the one on the field. So it's not as good as Chain Disappearance by far, but it does hit some of their higher attack guys that are over 1,000. And Chain Disappearance will banish the one on the field and all of them in their deck. So it stops them from getting their loop once again. You'll just destroy their loop by banishing or sending all of them to the grave, and then they won't be able to use it because, you know, it'll all be in the grave. I suggest hitting Rat with the Chain Destruction, because Rats will let you special summon from the grave, and if you get rid of their card that's in special summon from the grave, then you stop the loop a lot better. Hitting Hunter isn't as effective because they can just Rat it back onto the field, and then they can still use it. So it's probably a lot better just to hit the Rat. Moving on to the next, Effect Veiler. If you don't already main deck this card, you might as well just side deck it and put it in. It's really good. Stops their loop, just drop it, and stop their Hunter from discarding any of your cards. I mean, it's Effect Veiler. Not much more to say about it. Same with DD Crow, pretty self-explanatory. Although you normally don't main deck it, but you side deck it for against a lot of decks. The second they target with their Rat to special summon their Hunter, just drop the DD Crow and banish their Hunter, and it'll stop their loop. So, also very effective. Next card is a Thunder King Ryo. Once again, pretty self-explanatory. The main reason why I decided in, let alone it being just a really boss card, is the fact that it stops them from factoring cards into their hand. They'll try to use their Wind Up Factory to add probably Wind Up Shark to their hand and then start going into the loop. But Thunder King Ryo won't let them add their necessary cards into their hand, so it helps stop them from making a lot of their big plays, and the fact that it'll negate one of their special summons. So if they try going into a Leviar, Leviathan, or even their Zen Mighty, you can just stop it with Thunder King by sending him to the graveyard. So really effective, pretty self-explanatory. But moving on to a Gemini Imps. This might be a little bit weird, but it works pretty well if you don't really have anything else lying around to put in. It's also a good side deck against Dark Worlds, so if you're already thinking about side decking against Dark Worlds, might as well throw this in for windups too. Because when they attempt to discard one of their cards from your hand, with this effect, you can just ditch Gemini Imps and draw one. So, pretty effective. It keeps them from discarding a good card from your hand. So, I mean, might as well just put in Gemini Imps and stop them from discarding a good card and just ditch Gemini Imps and draw one. Thins out your deck a little bit by drawing, and stops them from discarding one of your big play cards. Next card is a Mind Crush. This isn't very, like, suggested, but it is still pretty good if you just want something random to put in there, like you have extra room on your side, or you don't have any of the cards already mentioned. Mind Crush isn't bad, because when they search out with their factory it's probably one of their really necessary cards, especially hitting that Shark. Shark is one of the most broken cards in the deck, in my opinion. And a lot of times they end up searching it into their hand with their factory. So you just Mind Crush it the second it gets into the hand. Have any other ones, which they normally will have too, so then they can just go Zen Mighty really easily. You discard all of them. So a very effective card against them. But there's better cards to side in, which I already showed you guys. But Mind Crush is still pretty good if you don't already main deck it. Summon Limit. This card is also a very good card decided against them as well. It slows them down a lot by not letting them special summon a lot in one turn, and it'll stop their loop. It stops Rabbit from going really, from doing really well on you, because they got a special summon from the move and play that's already one summoned, and they got to summon again, and then that's their only other summon, so that's their two summons, and then they can't execute or do anything, they have to sit there. And that's really effective because a lot of their windups don't have very much attack. So if you can stop that, then you can just keep attacking and hitting their cards really well. But don't side this in, which is why this is kind of at the end. Don't side this in if your deck special summons a lot as well, because it'll end up slowing you down more than it probably will end up slowing them down if your deck is supposed to be a lot quicker. But if your deck is more control based, like if you're doing with a Gravekeeper or an anti-meta or anything like that, or if you just put in a really nice side with like 3 T-Kings and you took out a lot of your special summoning cards and made it a little bit more control based, then you should probably put in the summon limits. But if you special summon a lot, definitely don't put this in, because it'll end up slowing you down as well, and you won't be getting anywhere. And for the last one, a Nico Main King. This is probably a card I just threw in there because it's a possibility to throw into your side if you really don't have anything else. What it does is if it gets discarded by an opponent's, or no, if it gets discarded at all, it ends your opponent's turn. So it's pretty broke, but if you have a lot of cards in hand already and they're starting their loop, you better really hope that they choose this card and then end their turn right away. Because if they don't, then this is just a dead draw. But it's possible. It's like if you don't have many cards in your hand already, you just have this, and they try doing their loop again to get rid of all of your cards. You pretty much hope that they hit this, and it just ends their turn right away, so they don't keep looping into everything. And I mean, I guess that's it. Pretty self-explanatory card. Doesn't do much though, so it's not very suggested unless you really don't have anything else, or if you just feel like putting it in for a Dark World once again. Because it is very good against Dark Worlds when they deal links, and you just ditch him and you get a free draw and their turn ends. But that's so yeah, just leave it down in the comments. Just gonna show you the list of cards once again here. Rules and match, Chain Destruction and Chain Disappearance, Veiler, GD Crow, Thunder King, Gemini Imps, Mind Crush, Summon Limit, and a Nico Main King. And that's the whole entire side. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in another video.